betterment of this city for you. It's not about me, and I'm sorry to say, council members, it's not about you either. It's about you. Soon after I was sworn in as mayor, I did something excuse me, that upset a lot of people. The directors of our city government, who are just marvelous people, and I love them. They are working hard every day, doing a great job. But I said, okay, I'm going to have a meeting in this little conference room just outside my office at 9 o'clock. Well, I didn't realize a couple of things. That conference room was very small, and it was very crowded. Secondly, I learned that high performers don't like to go to a meeting where they don't know what's going to be said. So I had them off guard that day, but I didn't tell them anything about them. I wanted them to understand about me and what my background is, what my expectations were for them, and what my expectations are for myself. I reminded them the city organizational chart shows me kind of at the top alongside the council, the other 6 council members. And I pointed out to them there's one thing that's missing on that organizational chart. That's the 23,000 people that we report to and that we're doing our job for. And I tell you that the council members, and I think I saw Ken McDowell sneak in just a few minutes ago, he's here as well. They work very hard for you. Our city staff works very hard for you. It's kind of shocking to me to recognize that our city staff is basically one person deep in every position. So when I ask them to help me with something, I'm basically taking their time away from you, but I don't do it frivolously, and I do it with, a purpose in mind. I am an ex-Air Force officer. I do accept responsibility for the city. And if things go wrong, we do everything that we can to correct them. As a matter of fact, it just occurred to me, we had and I hope I get this right, a shaved ice crisis in North Augusta. And of all days for me to exhibit my absent-mindedness, when I went to pick up my granddaughter at school, I left my cell phone on my desk. So by the time I got home that night, it was close to 6 o'clock. I swung by, stopped at the municipal building, walked in, got my phone, got home, and was looking up Todd's number to call him when my phone rang, and it was Todd. And he said, "Bob, have you checked your email?" I said, "Todd, I left my phone in the office." He said, "Well, we got a crisis." But he said, "I've taken care of it." He got the phone call. Fortunately, better him than me, I guess, because he knew exactly how to contact people. But he made the phone call and said, "The shaved ice crisis is over. Continue with your fundraiser." Things happen, but my point in telling you that is there are rules and regulations, ordinances, and things that we live by that are set for your benefit and for an orderly society. And when common sense says we need to do something different, we do it. So that was an opportunity to respond appropriately, and I actually got some of the credit for it, although I absolutely had nothing to do with it. But we're here for you. When things happen, I don't know, is there 300 people working in the city? Somewhere around that, am I right? 250. they're doing what they're told. If it's a procedure, they follow it. And in this instance, common sense prevailed and we continued on our way appropriately, I believe. So I did want to admit that we do have big crises sometime, but we're willing to take care of them. Let me mention a couple of things. We had an announcement last week. I guess time flies when you're having fun. SRP announced that they have agreed to the naming rights for our ball stadium, SRP Park. I can't think of a better organization than SRP to do that. I'm happy they stepped up and agreed to do it. It's a local company. They're headquartered in the city. That's a perfect fit. Jack-O-Lantern Jubilee, October 27th and 28th, downtown. We ask you to make sure that you keep people around you safe and healthy at that when it's going to be crowded. We're pretty certain we'll do our very best to take care of that issue. The Peach Jam. I talked to Rick Meyer during it, and I spoke to him again today. The little Nike Peach Jam had a paid attendance of about 12,000 people. Total attendance was about 15,000, he thinks, with VIPs and passes and things of that nature. And if you're at all a basketball fan, Kevin Durant was there, Shaquille O'Neal was there, Chris Paul was there, Paul Pierce was there. I had the opportunity to meet Shaquille O'Neal twice, once at the Peach Jam. And if you've ever shaken hands with a giant, you'll know just how insignificant your little hand is. And then coincidentally that night, Mary and I had decided let's go out to T-Bones in Augusta for a dinner, and who held the door open for us but Shaquille O'Neal. And what was really interesting that night was the little server or hostess who was standing there. When he walked in behind us, her mouth was like... And rightly so, they did not even know that Mary and I were there after he walked in the door. They immediately took care of him and seated him appropriately, so that was a great thing. The new gyms, 2 new gyms at Riverview Park. They're on track now to a completion date of about March of next year. I know our recreation program needs them. Pat Carpenter's the champion of our recreation program. Pat, I know you're happy about that for the camps that go on. The Greenway Tunnel will be built under Bergen Road for an extension of the Greenway north of I-20. The Riverside Village at Hammonds Ferry. I still can't get over calling it Riverfront when I know it's Riverside, nor Project Jackson. Any of them work. The stadium is on schedule for opening day, April 12th of next year. There's all kinds of new businesses in the city. Exit 5, if you've been by there lately, is just exploding. The latest is a Sprint gas, and one of the family or dollar type stores. I'm not sure exactly which one it is. The Holiday Inn Express is now open. Wendy's, Dairy Queen are recent. We got the Sprint gas too. Downtown infill, if you will, over by Lowe's and Kroger. Going to have an IHOP and an Aspen Dental, so we're infilling, which seems to be the big word amongst the planners now, is to go back when you have these big expanses of parking lots and areas and get new, smaller businesses there where we can become more community oriented in terms of accessing the things that we need on a day-to-day basis. Cyber, we're working hard to become a part of that activity. It's not easy to, they just don't come and say, hey, we'd like to, move our company here, or, oh, by the way, we're expanding universities in town or something. But we've had all kinds of discussions about them, and Mr. Glover has informed me that patience, Bob, patience. It takes time. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but we are working very diligently on that. Exit 1 is ripe for development. We are working hard on an opportunity there. An I-20 widening will be occurring very soon. I can't think of the turmoil that's going to create, but we'll get through it. And they have assured us, I guess, that it will not be that much of an inconvenience. Of course, they'll be working there, not making the commute by or whatever we do. The lock and dam is something that I've been concerned about for months now. You know, with the expansion of the Savannah Harbor, the Corps of Engineers is taking that opportunity, I think, to remove the lock and dam and install some kind of a rock weir or some kind of device so the short-nosed sturgeon can migrate up the river, and what that will do to our riverfront in terms of maybe a lower pool level or who knows what, to me is unacceptable. It would cause increased flooding, in my opinion. The River North area, we don't need that. The river is crucial and important to North Augusta, to Augusta. And I continue to work that as hard as I can. We've got the attention of, I hope, some people that can bring some sensible resolution to this issue. How many of you know about the frog stop? A few. You know, there's a leadership group in North Augusta annually, and they look for ways to benefit the city. They're in the process planning of renovating a building near the Greenway near Hammond's Ferry entrance. And they're having a fundraiser, a little plug for them, September 20th at the Larder Restaurant just inside the entrance to Hammond's Ferry. 5 to 8, it's paella and sangria. I've had Manuel's paella, and it's worth the $20. And it helps the frog stop, the people that are putting that together. I'm afraid I'll skip a couple of them. The budget is now under consideration. We're going to have public meetings the middle of September, the 18th, 19th, and 21st, although the 21st is in doubt. But I would encourage you to attend, hear what council's thinking about the budget, and as they wrestle with the issues, it's still under development. Todd and Kami Hayes are working more than daily on it. I reminded Kami the other day that I worked for a boss at my last assignment at Robbins Air Force Base, and he said, "Bob, if working 24 hours a day isn't enough, work nights." So I reminded Kami that she has that option as well. But do pay attention to that. A couple of numbers for you. Residential construction year-to-date, permits issued for residential construction year-to-date, nearly $53 million. Last year it was $6 million. New commercial permits, nearly $33 million. Alterations and additions to houses, $10 million. Miscellaneous, most of which are site prep permits, nearly $12 million, for a total of $107 million of permits for growth and renovation in North Augusta thus far this year. Last year, for the entire year, the total was approximately $80 million. So, as you know from driving around, North Augusta is booming, and rest assured we're doing our best to make sure that the growth is appropriate and well managed and monitored. Here's one I bet you didn't know. In 2016, our recycling program recycled 5,000 tons of recyclable waste. The sad part is that's only 25% of the residential waste by weight, which is not bad. That's close to the target. Commercial is about 8%. So a couple of gee whiz numbers, at least to me. That's, I think, an impressive amount, and it brought in, I think, a little bit over $1 million back into the city treasury. So with that, let me proceed to item number 1 on my list. There's a people here who today presented me with a petition, 60 signatures or thereabouts, and they're asking, it's a tennis group, and they're asking for 3 additional courts at Riverview Activity Center for their USTA matches. Knowing ahead of time that they alerted me a week ago, they were going to bring it here, and I promised them I would take it, and I will send a copy to the other members of the council. But I asked Rick Meyer to look into it. I know they have graded the courts already, and he estimates that right now that it would probably be about a $200,000 construction project for the 3 tennis courts. And then you want to put the clubhouse on top, which I know is an issue and an item that's been talked about in the past. It will get to the council members. I know that it's been discussed several times. I know Ken McDowell particularly is anxious for this to happen. He's mentioned it at least last year, I believe it was, he talked about it. So it's here. I appreciate it. A lot of effort and activity went into this, and we'll get it into the right hands and let our council members look at it and decide what they want to do. As I said, I'm 1 out of 7. But we work together, listen to one another, and with that, I'll stop and let you ask me questions. We have a mic here, right here.